Welcome, everyone. Simon Rosenberg, Hopium Chronicles, back with another great event. Joining me today is Janelle Stelson, who is our terrific candidate running in Pennsylvania 10. Janelle, welcome so much. Thanks for being here.
Wonderful to be here, Simon. Thank you so much for the invitation. Broadcast journalist for more than 30 years, listening to what Central Pennsylvania cares about, its issues, its concerns. At some point, I kind of reevaluated my life and thought, am I accomplishing what I need to? And I thought, no, I'm going to run for Congress. And I'd been covering Scott Perry and knew he would be a good person to take on. I lost by the second closest amount in last year's race from any Democratic challenger, 5,133 votes. Not that anybody was counting. And we just had Governor Josh Shapiro kick off my launch. He introduced me, endorsed me early, which is great because we have a heavily, I think, +5, +4 Republican district that he won by 12 points. And we're already doing some work with his office, meeting with minority business owners. So that's been wonderful. We're up 3% in the latest polls, which I never believe until election night. And the Cook Report and some of the other race raters have us at a toss-up, which is great because we started the last race at likely Republican. Nobody thought anything about this district, that it could change. Then we won our 6-way primary by 20 points. We got moved up to leans Republican. And by the end, we were at toss-up. And that is the way pretty much everybody's starting the race this time. So that combined with some great wins a couple Tuesdays ago, one of the areas in the 10th district, Pennsylvania 10, where I'm running against Scott Perry, 7-term incumbent, former head of the Extremist Freedom Caucus. But our elections were really great. Some areas that had previously always been red went at least a little purple, and some of them were very blue. So we're feeling good about things.
Well, and let's talk about this, about how different you ran last time. You came unbelievably close. You ran a terrific race. We were proud
Thank
to
you.
support you. We didn't win Pennsylvania in
No, we
2024.
did not, although we seriously outperformed the top of the ticket.
You outperformed the top of the ticket, but now things are different. You've got Josh Shapiro running for re-election at the top of the ticket. You have a much stronger Democratic Party in Pennsylvania. You've got a new chair, and you're going to have a much more ambitious and capable party behind you than you had. I can say that than last time. You guys just had this sort of wind in your back from having this really important victory just a few weeks ago. Talk a little bit about how the cycle itself is so different, and how does it feel on the ground? I mean, are you feeling this with people on the ground than last time?
Well, I will say, Scott Perry continues to be extreme, whether we're talking about veterans, healthcare, tariffs, winning the war on high prices, which he said, what are you talking about? Thanksgiving meal is less expensive this year. And, you go to the store and that's not what anybody else is saying. Wherever Scott Perry is shopping, we all need to go there because apparently the prices are down. But, whether it's large issue in his voting record, including the one big beautiful bill, as it is called, which is cutting jobs off in this area, which will threaten to shut down hospitals, which will make, doctor shortages more extreme. All of these things matter. High prices really matter. That's a lot of what we talked about last time. So, it's not getting any easier. He called shutting down. This is at the same time they were, sending billions of dollars in aid to South America, to Argentina, and, this kind of thing. But he said lowering healthcare costs for us here in the 10th district of Pennsylvania would be a colossal mistake. So that's a problem. He talked about veterans, I think it was 3 weeks ago now, saying that any veteran who served in the military, any Democratic veteran, hated America and only did that so they could come home and run for office. So short term, we put together a group we called a press briefing and put together a group of Republicans and Democrats who have all served. And they told their stories. It was headed by Chris DeLuzio, the congressman who was in the Navy from the western part of Pennsylvania. And everything our veterans had to say was, you know what, Scott Perry, you owe us an apology. He never came out and apologized. He never apologizes for any of the votes that hurt us, not help us. But it was just another indication of how out of touch and extreme he is.
Well, and he's become sort of a legend for that. I will say that, I mean, I think in a crowded field, he's kind of broken through nationally a little bit for being
Yeah.
among the most reprehensible of all of them. And so this is a really important race.
Again, whether you're looking at Scott Perry's larger record, how he was one of the planners of January 6th, the CIA seizing his cell phone, FBI, I should say, seizing his cell phone, and him saying that Italian satellites screwed with the ballots and changed Trump votes to Biden votes, even though his votes were in the same machines and they were just fine. All of that. And, just how deeply broken Washington is at this point. And Scott Perry is such a fine example, serving his 13th year after the largest shutdown in U.S. history. People are upset. It's called the government. You're there to govern. And they're angry when their many issues and concerns are not being dealt with. And it's just picayune, this and that. And, Democratic veterans, Scott Perry said, hating America, prices are great, which is not the case. Jeffrey Epstein, which initially, Scott Perry said, oh, yeah, we definitely need to look into those files. And then when the president came out and said, nah, not so fast, Scott Perry totally reversed course. All of a sudden, this wasn't a pedophile predator. It was somebody who needed to be protected. So, these are all things that we're all paying attention to. You want a congressperson who helps you, not hurts you. When I listen to Jamie Raskin, Congressman Raskin has come to our district a couple times to help out. And, you always hear his constituents talking about how great their guy is and what he does for the area, the money he's bringing in. Nobody ever says that around here. Scott Perry has not held an in-person town hall meeting since 2019. 2019. He refuses to tell the people who pay his salary why he votes the way he votes, to hurt us, not help us. And that includes not housing homeless veterans, not giving firefighters, protecting them from some of the hazardous chemicals in their gear, not protecting children who've been sex trafficked with additional services. He is the only Pennsylvania congressman, Democratic or Republican, who said no to all of those things. He says he's a fiscal conservative, but then he votes for the one big beautiful bill and adds $4 trillion worth of new debt to the budget, which is basically a reverse Robin Hood situation and mortgaging our children's, grandchildren's futures. So this is somebody who does not seem serious about representing central Pennsylvania.
Are you having fun?
I love it.
I can tell. That's why. I mean, but how's it? I mean, that's why I'm asking. Is it like we've just heard from other candidates that it's been the Democrats on the ground everywhere are just excited and they're working hard and they're kicking ass. I mean, you guys just had these. I hope everyone realizes that in Pennsylvania, in the November elections, not only did Abigail Spanberger and Mikey Sherrill win by huge margins, way
Yeah.
beyond anything that we all anticipated, but we won in California and Pennsylvania and Maine and Georgia
Yeah.
and various different elections by more than 20 points,
Yeah.
way beyond what anybody was expecting in any of these states. I mean, and so it's a huge accomplishment for the
Not going to
Democrats.
lie. It always feels good to win, Simon.
Yeah, yeah. So I know. So I just want to make sure that you are having fun because you seem to be having fun.
We are, and we knocked a lot of doors for people in the local, municipal, state races who won last time. So really proud of all of that. I told the team, let's get as many other Democrats elected as we can, and we worked really hard on that effort. And boy, did it pay off. All the way from the Supreme Court on down to school boards. We had a lot of Democratic wins that we've never seen before, and I'm very proud of that.
Yeah, I haven't really done the deep dive on that statewide, but just some of the reports in Bucks County and everything that huge wins for us all across the state. You have
Exactly.
many more Democratic colleagues now than you had before. And did that happen also in your area too? You guys picked up some stuff?
Absolutely. We had high turnout. We had historically Republican seats turning Democratic. It was a really, really successful day, and I'm very proud of that.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. And what are you when you are in addition to all the stuff with him, when you're talking to voters, what's top of mind right now for everybody?
You know what's top of mind? That I'm an American. I'm also a Democrat, but we need to reach across the aisle. We have so many problems these days, many of which are not even being addressed because there is so much ruinous nonsense coming out of Washington right now. And the things that people tell you they care about, they tell you for a reason. They think that you will carry their voice to the halls of Washington, to Congress, and do something about it. And if you can't, that you're going to come back and tell them why you couldn't do something about it and what we could do different next time. Any important relationship in life requires communication, whether it's your marriage, your work situation, your sports situation, whatever you're in. And I think it's the same thing for me. Having been a broadcaster for more than 30 years, I've been listening to all these voices, and people have been, trusting me to shine a bright light on what their issue is, hold the powerful accountable. And those are the things I think they'll send me to Congress to do as well.
Tell us a little bit, just before we go, just tell us where the district is and also how people can help you.
The district, Pennsylvania 10, is all around the state capital, basically the greater Harrisburg area. It's all of Dauphin County, which is where Harrisburg is, and to the south, it is the northern parts of Cumberland and York counties. So part of two counties and all of Dauphin County. Got some decent sized cities in there and a lot of rural areas. But the great thing around here, people really care about each other, whether it's one of your great family farms or the churches or the manufacturing, family businesses. We have all of that, and people have always really looked out for each other. So I think they would prefer to have a representative who does that as well, who hold costs down, who makes sure they can afford their health care, who just, again, votes to help them, not hurt them. And, I sorely hope that I am the one to go to Washington to do all of that.
And how can people, are you, do you have a volunteer link on your site? If people want to help you and volunteer, how do they do that, Janelle?
Well, you can go to janellestelson.com, JANELLESTELSON.com, janellestelson.com. We have volunteer opportunities. We certainly will take all the donations we can from anybody who's able to do that. There are a lot of ways to help this campaign, and a lot of ways we will be able to say thank you so, so much for helping move us forward.
Well, listen, everybody. Janelle, we worked with Janelle last cycle. She's a terrific candidate. It was a very tough cycle, and we came up just a little bit short. But this cycle is one of enormous opportunity for us. And these are the kinds of districts that we need to win to flip the House. It's why she's part of our initial pool of 4 that we've endorsed in our Winning the House campaign. And I think this is definitely one of these districts that if we do the work, we've got a great candidate. We've got to help her out in every way we can through volunteer and money. I hope people will learn more about our Winning the House campaign and become part of it by volunteering or giving a little bit of money. It gets split 4 ways among these terrific candidates. And it's time now. I mean, the 2024-5 elections are behind us. It's now time to give this early money and support these candidates because it makes such a huge difference in their races. To be able to hire staff now versus hiring staff in April, May, or June can literally make the difference between winning and losing in these elections. And so Janelle's a great candidate. Thank you all for being here. Janelle, any parting words before we go?
I would just say, Simon, you and all the folks at Hopium, thank you so much for everything you've done for us. It makes a huge difference. You really, a lot of this is about fundraising and the endorsements you get, and the help we're getting from Hopium is, I love your name because it contains hope, and you have given us great hope every time. So I hope I do the same for you.
Every day, and it's great to do again. I got to meet you in person a few weeks ago, which was really fun. And this is a really important race, everybody. Pennsylvania is going to turn out to be one of the most important states for us in 2026, in a year of enormous opportunity. And so please help us out, help Janelle out, and let's go do everything we can to begin the process of flipping the House in 2026. Thanks all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Simon.
Take care, everybody.